Yo, welcome to Be Determined. Before I get into the introduction here, I just want to tell everyone to bow their heads in a moment of silence for the Chicago Blackhawks.
May they rest in peace.
Thank you.
Will they get swept?
They got swept. It is 9 o'clock on a Friday, April 21st, and we are here again. This is Aaron with me again.
What's going on, guys?
I got Andrew.
What's up?
And me, truly, Anthony Russo.
We are kind of chilling watching the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma
Russell just
City
airballed.
Thunder. And Russell Westbrook once again looks like he's going to shoot the Thunder out of the game.
That's our MVP.
Yeah, MVP right there. All right,
Russ. Good job.
Let's go over a few headlines that were in the news today before we get into the NBA playoffs. Madison Bumgarner is hurt in a dirt bike accident and is put on the DL for the first time in his career. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I'm going to say the same thing I talk about like Ricky Fowler. Like when Ricky Fowler was a young golfer, he was riding dirt bikes, doing jumps and tricks. Dude, you get paid to play baseball. You don't need to be riding dirt bikes. You need to be focused on baseball. It's not the off season. It's baseball season. I don't care if you are a pitcher and you only pitch every 5 days. You need to be focused on what your job is because you get paid millions of dollars to be an elite level baseball player, not ride motorcycles.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. And also, if you pay me all that money that he gets, or any athlete, and you go do something stupid like that, even just risking anything for that amount of money, it's not worth it at all. I think it's dumb, especially because he's probably the best pitcher in the West, arguably with him and Kershaw. But I mean, I think Bumgarner got it. But stuff like this just blows my mind every time it happens. It really upsets me.
He could miss 2+ months because of this stupid act. So hopefully the Giants don't fall off because that'll be troubling, paying him all that money for such a careless act. So good riddance, Madison Bumgarner. Next, we've got the Raiders still hoping for a chance to sign Marshawn Lynch. Aaron, how do you feel about this whole progress since the news came out that Lynch was interested in coming back?
Well, I don't think we have found much out, really. I think it's clear that Marshawn wants to come back. I don't know why a deal hasn't been done. I don't know if maybe something's the holdup with the Seahawks. I don't think there is, but it seems like Marshawn wants to come back and play, and it seems like the Raiders want him. Seems like a perfect marriage to me. So
it's a perfect marriage, but do y'all think he's going to be that effective to gain all this new, what I'm saying?
Well, the Raiders have a pretty good O-line, and they also have a good young quarterback and pretty decent receivers. So their offense is good. I don't see why he wouldn't be successful. I mean, obviously he might not be the best back in the league, but I mean, they need a running back after losing Latavius Murray. So Marshawn seems like a pretty good fit. At least he's proven.
I don't think it'd make that big of a difference whether he's there or not.
I agree.
They're going to sign whoever they get, and they're going to be good regardless.
Yeah, they've still got plenty of free agents out there.
I don't think they want to deal with
the running back. Yeah,
I don't think any teams really.
It
want
would
to
be a good
them.
homecoming, but since they're moving anyways, then what makes
that's like 2 years away, though, right?
Yeah, true.
So
but why would he come back out for 1 year?
I mean, money.
That's stupid. Yeah,
I would only do it if I knew a championship team, so I'd go to the Patriots or something like that.
I mean, I think the Raiders. The Raiders were pretty damn good before the. I'm trying to. It's not David. It's Derek Carr.
Yeah.
David was the older brother. Derek Carr got hurt last year. They were pretty damn good before he got hurt. I think they were actually leading that division, so they should be a pretty good team.
Yeah, they got really unlucky last year. Sad, because I think they had a pretty good shot.
All right, moving on. Running back Joe Mixon, the guy who assaulted that girl from Oklahoma, reaches a settlement today, and this is a week prior to the NFL draft. Do you think his stock rises because of this or not? Or
I think the damage is done.
Damage is done. I don't know. I think the settlement definitely helps. It doesn't hurt, but like you said, the damage.
I don't know about his stock anyway. I mean, running backs don't really get drafted super high. I mean,
Not
just
anymore.
2 years ago, I think Jeremy Hill and what was the guy that went to the Titans? Bishop Sankey?
Yes.
Bishop Sankey and Jeremy Hill just a few years ago were the first 2 running backs picked, and I think they went either like late second or like early third round. So running backs aren't like super important as far as draft stock goes anyway. So I don't really see much changing with his draft stock.
Kuiper had him projected for the Cleveland Browns. What a good treat in the first pick in the second round. So I don't know if he'll go up from that, but
I could see him being a second-round pick.
And why would they want him? They got
He's not a bad running back, but
Duke Johnson, man.
Yeah.
Isaiah Crowell.
yeah,
you
man, they're
reach-
so good.
you reach a lawsuit and then get drafted by the Browns. Good riddance to you. Durant practices, but he's not playing if he's 100%. Do you think that this is kind of embarrassing now that we're in the playoffs? You have Durant, who's essentially a top 5 player, and the team he went to is doing just as good without him.
Well, I think that the Portland Trailblazers aren't a very good defensive team anyway. So I think that maybe later in the playoffs you might see them missing Durant a little more than they do now. But I mean, we're talking about a team that last year won 73 games. The year before they won 67 games. They won the championship 2 years ago, and they lost in the 7th game of the finals last year and could have easily beat the Cavaliers. So they didn't have Durant then. I mean, do they really need him now to win a championship? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It is
I don't
Kevin
think
Durant.
so.
He's a superstar player, one of the best players in the game, but the Warriors are a very good team with or without Kevin Durant. I think with him, they're a juggernaut. They're not going to be stopped. I can't see anyone beating them with Kevin Durant on the floor, but I can see them winning without him.
I think they run their offense 2 different ways.
They
You
do.
know, they have their one system without Durant because, it's worked for the past 2 years. They've won a lot of games, and they've made it pretty far in the playoffs. But, even with Durant, it's changed a little bit. It's a little more possessive.
Well, Steph is the leader, and without Durant on the court, Steph is the offense runs through
That's
him.
all they need. I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean, they blew out Portland in game 2 without Steph or Clay playing really well. And, you had, was it JaVale McGee basically led the team in scoring in game 2?
yeah.
So
I think it's embarrassing.
I think it's embarrassing.
I think Kevin Durant, because
You're saying that Warriors don't need him anyway?
I think the only series they would need him in is the finals against Cleveland.
So you're saying if they have Durant, they're not
if they
losing.
get,
I still think Cleveland can beat them.
do you
I'm
think
not-
if they
I'm
get
not
matched
gonna-
up with the Spurs, they'll beat the Spurs without KD?
I think so.
Without KD?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have before, haven't they?
I mean,
They came back from like 20 points down a month ago.
I don't think they've played the Spurs
I'm not counting out.
Yeah.
I'm not counting out
They
the
were
Warriors.
in the playoffs.
Oh, in the playoffs.
Well, the playoffs is different because it's a
is
series.
different. It is different.
It's a series of games. You have to play the same team game after game after game. And, I mean, you got Greg Popovich who can, come up with a great game plan to beat the Warriors if they don't have Kevin Durant. I think if they do have Kevin Durant, they just have way too much firepower.
if he somehow lingers through the playoffs playing half the games and they end up winning easily, I think it's going to make for an interesting offseason because I don't think, why would Golden State, now knowing that they don't really need Durant, that they can go sign some more assets instead of signing him
His
back.
big contract, yeah.
Yeah,
But it's a player.
And then Kevin Durant himself, he's got to be like, wow, well, I came here
It's a player option.
to
is it
try
not?
it. It is a player option. But,
So what if he takes it? Then the Warriors are just fucked?
I mean, I don't think they're not fucked
Well,
because you
no,
have Kevin
you have Kevin
Durant. It's
Durant.
not
It's
a
a win-win
terrible
for them. It's a
thing.
win-win.
I don't think.
You get rid of a contract or you just
I think
re-sign
it's
a superstar.
up to Durant, though, right?
It is up to Durant.
Yeah,
I don't see Durant opting out. Like,
I don't
So you think he's
so.
going to take... what's his contract right now? It's a 2-year contract, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a 2-year,
Okay,
like,
so... No, he won't
was
even
pretty
take
max.
it. He just runs with it.
I mean,
At the end
no
of-
one can offer him more money than the Warriors can. I don't think that's how it works.
That blows my
right?
mind because all the stars they have on their team, they all take... I guess they take cuts.
Yeah, well, Steph doesn't make that much money.
Yeah, he has a really good contract, doesn't he?
Yeah,
if
Steph. Steph's
Yeah.
contract is a little less.
If he ends up playing, then obviously all that goes away. But if he keeps lingering on throughout the playoffs, playing maybe one or two a series, then
Maybe
that's
they're
got to be.
just resting him. Like that's what I'm. They
I
might,
get that. I get that. But at the same time, I think it's embarrassing. I think it will make for an interesting offseason.
Maybe the Bulls can get someone.
We'll skip over the Eli Manning stuff. I don't really know what's going on with that. Something with
Fraud.
Yeah, I don't really care about any of that. And then we'll end with LeVar Ball quote: "We'll have Nike shaking in their boots."
This dude just never shuts up. Like, does he ever just stop talking? I mean, he can beat Michael Jordan 1-on-1. His son is better than Steph Curry. They're gonna get $1 billion clothing deal. Like, this guy just keeps running his mouth. I think he's funny and entertaining, but some of the things LeVar Ball says, I mean, come on. You think your big baller brand is gonna be bigger than Nike? I mean, Nike's the biggest sports brand in the world.
It's stupid. I don't even want to talk about him because we're just doing what he wants if we're talking about him. He's just trying to get attention. So if we all just shut up about it, he'll probably leave us alone.
And with that, we'll head into the NBA playoffs. A lot has happened since our last podcast. We are 2 and 3 games deep into each series. So let's get it started, and we'll go over what's going on in the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Indiana Pacers. I'm delirious tonight. Sorry, guys. Not sorry, actually. I don't really care. Before I get mugged here by these two assholes on the Cleveland Cavaliers situation, I'm just going to get my statement out here. Cleveland is not struggling in this series. I know they came back from 25 points yesterday, and the games have been pretty close. 1 point in the first game, and then 6 points in the second before yesterday. Cleveland's the best team in the East. It's no question. But I'm more impressed with how Indiana's playing. I think Indiana, if you re-rank all 8 teams as of now, I think they're fourth. I don't think anything that Boston Celtics / Chicago Bulls are doing is impressive just because
So what are your top 4 teams in the East?
Cleveland, I think Washington's been playing solid, and Milwaukee, and then Indiana. I think Toronto's overrated. I think Boston had
Toronto's the worst team. There's no overrated
Boston
or anything. They
had,
suck this year.
I mean, Isaiah
Or the
Thomas's
playoffs,
sister. Obviously, it was unfortunate, but that's got to be hard to play with. And he's the leader of that team. He's the engine that keeps that team going. And when the assets around him aren't doing well, I don't think they can, do what they did in the regular season. So I think Indiana's they've scored over 100 a game. Paul George is playing out of his mind. He is a little salty in the press conferences, calling out players, but I guess he's just doing that to motivate them. It just doesn't seem like he wants to be there. But Cleveland looks great. I don't think anything's wrong with the way they're playing. They're winning the series 3-0. They're the best team in the league. They have the best bench. And y'all can roast me now. I just had to get that out there. And
So the thing that I had with Game 3 especially is, where were Unk and Kevin Love in the fourth quarter? They didn't even play. So, I mean, Cleveland.
that should be a compliment, not a
Yeah,
a
but it's a
diss.
compliment for LeBron because LeBron balled out. LeBron played amazing. I'd say that's one of the 10 greatest playoff games LeBron's had in his career. LeBron was hitting threes. I think he went 6 of 12 from 3-point land.
That's shooting a lot of threes.
That's
LeBron.
pretty good for LeBron, but I don't think Cleveland has looked good. I think we've seen a lot of the same. They've been poor defensively. They turn it on when they have to. But I just don't think you can flip the switch.
They're just trying to make it
that.
interesting.
Like, I think LeBron's playing well, but if LeBron keeps having to carry the load the way that he had to in Game 3, I could see Cleveland struggling mightily the rest of the playoffs. I think the Pacers are not very good at all. They haven't impressed me whatsoever. They actually at some points look like a dead team out there. But I mean, like I said in the previous podcast, I think Cleveland's pretty much gonna run through the East. Like I don't see them having a problem with anyone in the East. And once they get to the finals, they're gonna have to play a formidable opponent. I think they may struggle.
I think you're wrong about Indiana, man. I think Indiana beats almost any team in the playoffs other than Cleveland. That's a bold statement, but I mean, just look at
why is their record not good?
It doesn't matter about the record. They're in the playoffs. I think in the playoffs, those three games they played. It
doesn't matter. They play teams throughout the year.
Those 3 games they played, they would at least be up 2-1 against anyone in the East, other than Cleveland.
They won't be able to put that many points up. Cleveland's defense is lackluster. If you go against the Bulls, they ain't
That's
putting
what
up
I'm
that many
saying.
points.
Cleveland's defense.
You go against the Jazz
is weak.
For goddamn sure, they're not putting up that many points.
Well, they're in the West,
The
so
Jazz
that's
is
not
in the
going to.
West.
Yeah, I think they almost lead any series. It's unfortunate for them, but
Cleveland leading any series or Pacers?
No, the Pacers. No. I'm telling you, man. I don't know why y'all are hating on Indiana.
I'm not hating on Indiana. I'm just saying what I see.
I just don't.
Besides Paul George, who's like I think the 3rd leading scorer in the playoffs, it's like they have like 32. There's nothing. Miles Turner isn't stepping up like he needs to, and I think he was the X factor.
Lance Stevenson hasn't been playing super well.
He's not been playing awful. What do you expect?
Oh, I'm sorry. He just came off the couch.
PS4 on the couch.
Came off the couch and is actually playing really well. I don't think. I mean,
Lance Stevenson only plays good for the Pacers. Let's be honest.
There was times, of course, in the third quarter yesterday where their offense just stopped because they put up 72 points in the first half.
That's Cleveland's defense right there.
They won the game. I don't care.
I gotta recognize their defense is
I just
bad.
think
Their
Cleveland
offense
should
is
be
bailing
blowing
out.
Indiana out the water. Like I don't think these games should be close, and they are. Well, but I mean,
For how much you talk about how good Cleveland is, they should just
we'll see.
beat the shit out of the
see
Pacers.
as the playoffs progress. Does Cleveland continue to play these close games, and does LeBron have to continue carrying the load? Because can he? I mean, LeBron led the NBA in minutes this year, and I think he's leading the NBA in minutes in the playoffs as well thus far. And if he has to keep playing this much and he has to put that much of the load on his shoulders, I could see him possibly running out of gas. I mean, he is getting older.
I don't think he'll have to carry the load every game. I think that was just a one game thing. Anyways, I think Cleveland maybe gives up a game. I think they play tomorrow, or they play Sunday. I think they give up that game and they go back to Cleveland and finish the series there.
You think that
I think
the
they
Pacers are
bust
going to take a game?
I think they bust
think
out
so.
the brooms. I think
No,
the
it's
Pacers
over.
give up.
It can go 2 ways.
How much were they up? Like they're up like 20 something at
25.
And you give up that lead, that's crushing. They haven't. They're more out.
Cleveland's
think-
either going to beat the shit out of them, or Indiana's going to play with their hearts and leave it on the line and come out with a close win. But it doesn't get
I'll
past,
be watching it regardless.
It doesn't get past 5. After game 5, I don't think they win 2 in a row.
No, there's no way.
Aaron, any last words?
No,
what do
I
you
think I think Cleveland
Sweeps.
wins in 4.
Okay. That's, I think Cleveland's the best team in the East. That's
Who do
just
they
me.
play next round?
The winner of the Toronto Raptors and
They're
Milwaukee
making
Bucks.
it to the finals.
Okay,
So,
well,
we'll talk about
Toronto
that.
has been struggling. Like Toronto,
Kyle Lowry, man, he can't play in the playoffs.
In game
Paul
1,
George can't play in the
Milwaukee took it 97-83, followed by Toronto taking game 2, 106 to 100.
yeah, game 3 was
and then
not close.
yesterday
That was bad.
was bad. I think they scored 25 points at half. It was
It
sick.
was something stupid.
It was sick. They ended up beating them by 27. Probably could have been more if they kept the gas on. But
I mean, Giannis was playing out of his mind.
I told y'all, Milwaukee has a good bench. Toronto lacks it, and
I think Toronto is going home. I think
so,
Milwaukee is going to win this series.
Toronto's overrated. Serge Ibaka, that was a good asset to acquire, but
But did you hear Lowry in the
Lowry
post game?
cannot play
In the post game,
playoffs.
he was like, they asked him, "Do you think you can still win the series?" He said, "Yeah, but we just didn't even show up tonight." He sounded just totally defeated. It didn't sound.
he's not
sound
doing
confident.
anything to contrip, really.
And
to be
DeRozan
honest.
isn't like doing anything special. He's playing all right.
You see all these teams do well. We'll talk about the Celtics too. They just do well and they get in the playoffs and and they just don't have it.
Well, they're like I keep preaching this playoff experience teams with, but you would think that Toronto has been there the last couple years that they would have like gotten over the hump.
I agree.
But they
don't
haven't.
have like a Joe Johnson or players like that.
They don't have a
any
bench. They do not
veterans.
have a bench.
But they don't have
Corey Joseph.
They don't have
Corey
veterans.
Joseph.
They're a young team, right?
Corey Joseph is your best bench player. That's
trouble.
not good. I know Terrence Ross wasn't the best, but starting Pat Patterson at the 4 and then having Terrence Ross come off the bench, at least you have a spark off the bench to compete with Greg Monroe, Deladova, I think comes off the bench now, and Mirza. That's just those 3 right there can put up 20 total.
If you don't know who Mirza is.
Yeah, so I think Milwaukee, I don't know. I'm not sold on them yet, but I am sold that Toronto is overrated.
Well, they're doing this without Jabari Parker.
True.
So it's very impressive to me.
It's very impressive, and they're playing well.
If we talked about this earlier, I said, who do you guys think is the best looking team in the playoffs thus far? And I think Milwaukee has looked the best, other than Cleveland and Golden State, who we expect to look good.
we expect.
I mean, Cleveland and Golden State have met in the finals the last 2 years.
Cleveland's a little shaky.
We know,
man.
we know what they're about.
Their offense is so good.
But Milwaukee is an up and comer, and they are looking pretty solid thus far. I think they may be a force to be reckoned with in the next few years.
We've
Jabari back? Yeah, they're going to be incredible.
We've got Game 4 tomorrow in Milwaukee. How do y'all think that game turns out, and how do y'all think the series will go from there?
I think Milwaukee takes Game 4 and goes up 3-1. I think that Toronto might be able to win Game 5, and then Milwaukee takes the series in 6 games.
So you think Milwaukee wins on their home court, Game 6?
Yeah,
what about you?
that's
Poto?
what I think.
I think Toronto's going to take one more game, whether it be.
Just one more?
Think
I
he's going to go
can't
to Game 7?
I can't see this one going 7.
It's going to be 4-2.
Milwaukee just looks too good.
Game 4 is a huge game for Toronto. I think if they lose, it's over. But if they win, it's a fresh
If they
ball
don't
game.
get their shit together for Game 4, this series is over.
If they win
If they do, it's a brand new series. But if they lose Game 4, this thing's over. 3-1. Not many teams come back from 3-1.
I agree. I'm not sold on Milwaukee just yet because of their youth, but I don't think Toronto. I think Toronto's overrated. So it would be an exciting match. I think it's more of an exciting matchup with Milwaukee playing Cleveland.
Everything's overrated in this podcast. We use overrated very loosely.
Maybe we should just rename the podcast Overrated. To be overrated.
Yeah, because they're talking about LeBron James probably.
No, I'm not
Not
saying
gonna get an
LeBron
argument
is
over that.
overrated. Well, I mean, if we go by Russo's rating, then yes, LeBron is overrated because Russo thinks he's the greatest player,
Best player
of all time
on the planet.
But no, he is the best player on the planet. He's just not the best player to ever to play the game.
All right, well, that'll be an interesting series and a game to catch tomorrow if you're home watching NBA. We'll move on to the next series. The Wizards are up 2-0 on the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
Wizards are sweeping.
The Wizards look really good.
Hawks look like shit.
I mean, they're getting outplayed. The scoreboard doesn't really show.
I'm telling you, man. I told you at the beginning of the season, they don't have a player that averages 20 points.
It's just
Hard to win
because
like that.
If Beal and Wall do what they're doing now and they're averaging 25 a game each, then they've got a shot. But once one of them falls off, then this could go back in Atlanta's favor, especially heading to their home court. So Game 3 is huge, obviously. I think Atlanta takes it. I think Atlanta takes Game 3, and I really don't know what happens in Game 4.
You can't stop.
I think Atlanta gets one game in the series. I think the Wizards
Really?
take it in 5. Yeah. The Wizards look strong. Like they've looked.
They do.
Gortat's playing well.
I'm not sold on the Wizards yet. I don't think they
What's
can.
Wall averaging?
30 or
And let's say the Wizards do get this series.
32, 11 assists.
two games.
The Wizard. Let's say the Wizards wrap this series up 4-5 or whatever. It looks like from what we saw earlier tonight with the Celtics and Bulls, that series could maybe go 7. The Celtics, they looked like they didn't have a heartbeat the first 2 games.
Well, obviously because of
I mean, you had Isaiah with his sister passing, but Game 3, the Celtics tonight, they came out to play.
That's the real Celtics. I knew coming in, once I found out the news that the first 2 games are going to be tough just because it's so fresh on Isaiah's mind. And I know Isaiah played well, but it doesn't just affect Isaiah. I mean, obviously, personally, it affects Isaiah more than the team, but it still affects the team.
Yeah, definitely.
I knew they were going to come out tonight and do well. They beat them by what? 104-87.
I mean,
so it's 2 games to 1. The news of Rondo being out indefinitely.
That's what lost him.
I don't think
no,
so.
no,
I really
no.
don't think so.
I think,
Dude, 10 assists for one player makes a huge difference in a game.
I don't think so.
You know how many
I
points
think-
that is? That's 20 points.
I think
that's probably more than 20
Rondo
points.
being
You understand
out
that, right?
affects
I
the
don't
series
think it makes a
massively.
difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Russo doesn't think so. He thinks Rondo's
That's 20
washed.
points.
Rondo,
At the least 20 points.
Portis, and that other guy Grant are just as good as Rondo and playing like it. Obviously, they didn't
Grant
play
is
like
not
in pain.
anywhere near Rajon Rondo. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think it's a series changer like y'all are making
Yeah.
it out to be.
It absolutely is. Like, yeah, he sucked in the season, but he comes in the playoffs and plays well. He's averaging a double-double. What do you want from him? You want him to
10.
average 20 points and 10? And then when he sits out, you want to be like, oh, well, now they need him. Dude, he's a point guard. He plays good defense, and he passes the ball.
10 and
all you need
11.
is 10 points when you have Jimmy Butler dropping 25 and D-Wade dropping 20. What do you want?
I wouldn't get all salty about D-Wade dropping 20 a game.
D-Wade's
That's
50 years old.
Okay.
Why are you taking it away from the Bulls, what they're doing?
I'm not.
It's stupid.
I think it's more the Celtics of
Bulls-
what happened to Isaiah's sister.
You can't blame everything on that.
I'm not blaming.
But the Bulls
everything
looked
on that.
good game 1, game 2.
They
were-
did look good, but I knew tonight Boston was going to come out and be back to normal,
didn't
and
have Rondo.
I think they're going to win the next 4 or the next 3.
You're just saying that because you're pissed.
I'm not pissed. Why am I? I have no.
So 6 games.
I think I don't think they lose another game.
Rondo broke his thumbs. I don't think he's coming back.
I think this
I
one
can't believe y'all are falling on this idea that Rajon Rondo is such a series changer.
He averages a double-double. What the fuck do you want?
10 and 11.
What do you want?
You're acting like he's MJ.
No. So what does it take for them to actually be
10 and
an
11.
asset?
Oh my god, 10 and 11's.
He could average 4 points. As long as he gets fucking 10 or 11 assists, that makes a pretty fucking big difference. That's 20 points at the least.
I just think Rondo has playoff experience. He's
a leader.
He's been on championship teams. He's a leader. Rondo, he might not be an elite shooter, but Rondo does a lot of other things, like other than score the basketball to help his team. And he played well in both the first 2 games of the series.
I don't even think he's the 5th.
All right, on to the next series. I'm done talking about this.
Oh, because Poto's so salty about his Bulls. Whatever.
At least my team made the fucking playoffs.
Cool. They're gonna get embarrassed by the Celtics in these next 3 games.
They're gonna win, and then they get embarrassed by the Wizards. So
Yeah, whatever. All right.
I mean, I think this series goes 7. I don't
don't
know who I think is going to win the series. I probably go with the Celtics just based on the fact that I think the Rondo injury.
You're on record saying the Bulls can win the East.
I am.
To the 4
when did he
hours
say
ago.
that?
But now
4 hours ago.
Yeah, but now Rondo's out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I think they could make it to the conference finals if they got lucky.
I think if Rondo's healthy and they make it to the conference finals, I think they have
I don't think they can beat
decent
the
chance.
Wizards if the Wizards make it.
I think they would have a decent chance to hang in there with the Cavs. I just don't think the
For
Cavs
anyone
look good.
For anyone listening right now, I know people don't comment on our stuff a lot, but I really want to hear y'all's opinion on this, whether or not Rondo is a series changer.
Well, they just
going
fucking lost
forward.
without him.
So
I think it's a pretty big difference. And
these
that was
two-
home court too, so I think it's a pretty big difference.
These two are acting like he's Michael.
No, I'm not. You know
Jordan.
Michael Jordan is on that team? Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. So if you would please comment your opinion on that, so I can prove to them that they're seeing shit, that would be nice. Or maybe
No,
I'm
or go
seeing
against
shit.
them, yeah.
Maybe I'm seeing shit. Whatever. I just don't think Rajon Rondo is that big of a deal. Moving on to the West, Golden State is playing lights out with and without KD. They beat Portland by 12 the first game and by a whopping 29 the second game without KD. I don't think this goes past 5 at the most.
No
5 is a little generous.
Didn't Lillard and McCollum drop like 30 each?
The first
and they
game,
still lost?
the first game, I think McCollum looked lights out. He had 27 at half, and then Damian had 20. They ended up finishing with like 69 total points.
For them, I think it was 75.
75?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't win it with 2 people. I know everyone complains about Russell Westbrook and how bad his team is around him, but other than those 2 guys and the Crab, maybe, and Nurkic, I guess, but other than that, that team is sad.
Portland
Nurkic
has another game where those 2 absolutely go off. They're not winning.
I don't think
a game.
I think Nurkic is the X factor. He hasn't played since. I know he hasn't played since. 9 games ago.
Nurkic is hurt.
I know, but he's up in the air every time before the game. But they were like 16 and 4.
Man, he doesn't make a difference at all.
He makes a playoff difference. They were 16 and 4 since they acquired him.
Rim protector.
Oh, y'all weren't fucking with me about Rondo. So
Because that's serious. Okay.
I don't think he would make a difference against the Warriors.
Nurkic, I think so.
Dude, the Warriors are going to beat him.
Well, now
it might make a difference between 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, now down 2-0,
it's over.
You're deflated. I don't think it makes a difference now. But starting with that series with Nurkic, I think it could have been different. I still think Golden State's just the best team.
For him?
I mean, how many games do you think Portland wins with him?
Harkless started at the 4.
Who was the 5?
Plumlee. No, they traded Plumlee. Who started at the 5? Oh, hold on. Don't say it. The white guy.
From where?
God, hold on. Let me find this out real quick before we.
Presbilla. I'm just kidding.
I'm just curious as to how many games do you think Portland would have won if he was healthy?
2.
2.
You think that series goes 6 games?
They could have won that first game with the way everything unfolded.
All the Trailblazers needed was like a player off the bench that just go for 16, 17, and maybe another go for 10. And
I know Harkless was playing the 4. Vonleh, whatever.
Oh, the white guy?
He's not white.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure he's black as hell.
I mean, we're talking about game 2.
What's wrong with that? I'm just
nothing's wrong with that. He was 1 of 5 in the first game with 2 points. His plus minus was -10.
Yeah, Nurkic would play a lot better than
Nurkic. I'll look up game 2 just for shits and giggles what he did.
I mean, game 2, Steph and Clay didn't even really have good games. JaVale McGee was their leading scorer, and they routed him.
So Vonleh has a combined 5 points, 8 rebounds in 40 minutes in 2 games. Nurkic in 2 games is probably putting up close to 40 and 20 in those 2 games combined, not per game.
That was a good trade for them.
A great trade. I didn't know they were 16 and 4 since the trade. I thought they were mediocre.
Yeah,
they got injured and they dropped off and they barely made the playoffs. But once again, getting the AC, and I'm a Pelicans fan, but do I really want to see my team get embarrassed by the Warriors?
I would think the Warriors have a chance. I mean, the Pelicans would have a chance. They just control the paint.
Yeah, with Boogie and Davis, they would have given a better chance
Anthony
than
Davis, and who the hell would guard
Portland. Yeah,
Boogie?
But it's like the AC is the.
I thought
cancer.
the Nuggets were the best team for the 8 seed. Personally.
They have the most spread out lineup. I feel like, but they're not.
They have a better overall team.
I don't.
They have a decent point guard. They have a pretty good shooting guard in Barton.
Yeah, I don't think
Barton comes off the bench
anybody-
actually, though Gary Harris starts.
I don't think any of those teams can play with the Warriors. I don't think anybody.
Who's the 3? Wilson Chandler, or does he come off the bench?
I don't know. I've seen him off the bench.
Yeah,
but they've got Jamal Murray.
I think they switch all the time. They really switch. They got a good bench.
Him and Gallinari are both 3s, so I don't know how they play that.
I've seen them play Gallinari at the 4 before.
Yeah, well, there's not much to talk. I think Golden State.
Yeah, they're out of the playoffs.
Generous 5 games, but they could. This depends what happens game 3.
I think Golden State could blow them out of the water
with or without Durant.
Yeah.
So, I think Draymond Green's playing at outstanding pace.
What do you think they should do with Durant? Do you think they should sit him the rest of the series?
Yeah.
Or do you think he
They're
should
not going
play?
to lose to Portland, please. For the
I would
love of
rest
God.
him.
If I was Golden State,
They're going about it the right way.
I wouldn't.
Wait.
I wouldn't even play Durant at all in the first series.
You wait till he's 100%. No doubt. There's no doubt in that. Like I said, we were talking about how it's embarrassing earlier, but in the moment right now, playing for a ring, you want him 100% because you know the big game is Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know the big game is. I know the Spurs are good and all.
I mean,
and you're going to need them for
the
that
Western
war.
Conference Finals and the Finals are your two most important.
You're going to need them for
series.
that. Both of those wars. I think they cruise by whoever they play. What is it? The Clippers.
Clippers or
I think
Utah.
I think they cruise by them as well. Maybe not in 4 or 5, but at the most 6.
Warriors too powerful.
Yeah. So
Much star power.
Let's talk about that Clippers series because
I think that's the
Moving on
best
to the
series. To
Clippers.
be
Yeah,
honest
yeah.
with you,
I think so
I think
too.
it is.
because you got a really
too.
fast team and a really slow team.
the first
and they just go back and
game-
forth.
Chris Paul comes up and hits a pretty clutch shot to tie the game. It was to tie the game, right? And then Joe Johnson comes and gives him the sauce to end the series, or
I love
not the
Joe
series,
Johnson.
the game. He's a great asset to that team. That was a great signing.
Regardless of how old he is,
Comes off the bench. You need a bench in the playoffs.
he's a pure scorer.
Whether
He's a
it's-
pure scorer.
Whether it's a guy averaging 20 or multiple guys averaging,
He's a different player in
7
the
or
playoffs
8.
also. So,
yeah. But
and he brings that experience that Aaron was talking about.
the tide turned in game 2. They just came out flat, and it looked like the Clippers came out with a sense of urgency.
You got to remember the Jazz don't have Rudy Gobert.
Well, I mean, game 2, the
Even
Jazz
though they won
changed
without
their
him, but-
starting lineup. They inserted Joe Johnson, or no, I'm
Joe
sorry,
Johnson came off the bench.
Zebo
Zebo, yeah.
into the starting lineup
Because Rudy Gobert got hurt that first
Right.
game.
we're talking about the Clippers in Utah,
Oh, I'm
not Memphis and
Oh,
Spurs.
yeah.
I'm talking about a different series altogether. I've been watching so many games. I'm tired. So many games.
Rudy Gobert got hurt on I think the very first play of the
Yep.
first game.
Oh yeah. He
so
was.
I think without him, they don't stand.
they've
a
got
chance.
Jeff
He-
Withy starting now.
He got hurt at the very beginning of the game, right?
Clippers are going to probably just beat him out from this point.
I don't know. It's tough to play in Utah. I don't even care with or without Gobert. It's tough to
Is
play
it?
in Salt Lake City. Yes.
They have a pretty
Oh.
good home record.
The home record's good. Look, you remember Darren Williams, Kyle Korver, Okur, Boozer.
Boozer.
They were solid back then. And that
AK
place,
47,
you remember
Kirilenko.
their home records during that span was just outstanding. And I think with a good team, that atmosphere and all of that makes a huge difference. I think Utah takes game 3, and then I think it's the same thing. I think the Clippers come back with a sense of urgency, and then I don't really know what happens from there. It's 2-2, a fresh series, 2 out of 3. I'm not impressed by.
Either team.
It's just
Oh,
it's a boring pace just because the Jazz are a boring team in terms of defense.
dude,
In terms of defense,
Both. Have you seen them offensively? They just
'cause-
kind of like they give Gordon Hayward the ball and like in like the last like 10 seconds of the shot clock, and he literally just like posts whoever's up on him. And
and
just
there's
fades
nothing
away.
wrong. I love some
mean,
good defense.
Doc
Defensive
Rivers-
basketball.
Doc Rivers said something the other day like, "Oh, well, even if we don't win, I believe in my guys," or something like that. And I don't know. I can't see the Clippers winning the West like at all. I mean,
Dude, the Warriors gonna win. It's not even in
the
question.
Clippers have too many good players to keep getting bounced in the first round or whatever. Like
So you think they're gonna lose this year?
they might
Yeah, they might.
have the Clippers made it out of the first round?
Rudy
ever?
Gobert is a pretty big deal.
Gobert's a big deal, but I think the Clippers outlast them because of that.
Yep.
But in terms of the future,
Is it time for the Clippers to break up? Like, is it time for like?
well,
this?
so if you go
Sure, we
down
talked about it
if you
before.
go down
I mean-
their big 3, you have Chris Paul,
they have a big 3.
DeAndre, and Blake
Blake.
Griffin.
Oh, I thought it was more like Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan.
I think
Oh my god.
I think the only person that you really need to give up out of that is Blake Griffin. I think DeAndre.
a lot of
Chris Paul
experts
is a
are saying
free
he needs to
agent
leave.
this year.
I know, but if I had to
Chris
drop
Paul's-
one, it would be Blake Griffin. Just
And if
because DeAndre.
look, they clear that up and they can get like Carmelo or something.
Yeah.
Carmelo ain't staying.
They-
in
I
it.
mean,
I understand
this
Blake Griffin.
Lob City experiment just isn't working to me. Like,
Yeah, ever since Griffin
be able to shoot
started,
three.
I mean, Griffin's playing well and his numbers are great. But the Clippers, I don't think they need him with how good DeAndre's been clogging up the paint. I think if they got like a swing power forward who could shoot outside, like a I know Ryan Anderson's not leaving, but Ryan Anderson or someone who can shoot threes to spread the floor.
We just had this conversation the other day, and I said Blake Griffin wasn't a good shooter, and both of you said, well, yeah, he can shoot jumpers.
He can, but
Blake Griffin's not a good shooter.
He can't shoot.
He hit a couple threes.
He can hit
first game.
Oh, wow, he hit a couple of threes. I mean, he's an NBA player. I'd imagine he could.
I think the Clippers.
Josh Gibson just got a technical foul.
I think the Clippers take this in 6. I think the Jazz they get even 2-2 these next 2 games, and then they play tonight. So wow, Utah's actually up 13 at the end of the first quarter.
Oh, that game's on right now.
34-21.
Yeah, that game's on right now. But
and I guess another score update, and we'll get into the series now. Houston is trailing to Oklahoma City
63-57 at the moment.
Talk about the opposite of the Jazz Clippers style of play. They've combined already for 120 points. And it's not even the first half, still has a minute left. So this is
high power offense.
To me, this is the most exciting series.
I think so too.
Probably in the first round for East or West. I think.
I agree.
I mean, you got Russell, you got James Harden. Game 2 was crazy. It really was. You had Oklahoma City with 3 minutes left in the third quarter was up 12. Russell,
we might as well start talking about that.
Russell comes out the game. And before the end of the third quarter, it's a 2-point game or 3-point game. And it looks like y'all are watching the game instead of focusing.
Beverly just
I'm focusing.
said something to someone in the crowd.
I think so. Everyone's shocked about what happened in that game. He went what? You already said it right. 14 for.
No, I mean, so in the fourth quarter, the start of the fourth quarter, they're down 3. The Rockets, and Russell Westbrook shoots 18 times in the fourth quarter and makes 4 shots.
Why would you keep shooting? Before
that, I think he was something like 13 of 25 going into the fourth quarter, and he ended up finishing like what, 17 of like 40.
Yeah, 17 of 41. I think
taking 40 shots a game.
People are acting.
That's why he's averaging.
Yeah, people are acting surprised by this. He does this all the time.
But he just runs down the court with single possessions, like no one else touches the ball, and throws it up with 3 people hanging on him. If Russell Westbrook ever wants to win a championship, I think he needs to change the way that he approaches the game of basketball. Just the other day, someone asked him about his friends out on the court, and he said, during the game, I only have one friend, and that's Spalding. So
that's an ignorant ass statement.
Russell Westbrook, to me, is, I mean, yeah, he puts up regular season numbers or whatever, but if you want to win the playoffs, I mean, you got 3 guys hanging on you. Somebody's open, right?
Absolutely. I feel for him.
I mean, they don't have
that team
great
doesn't have the best shooters. No, absolutely not.
Does not have the best, and you're right. But
and no one was making shots in the first 3 quarters. No one was making shots.
I agree.
But Russ cannot continue to play this way and expect to win a championship.
It's just like how we were talking about Paul George in that final play, how he was like, I gotta have the damn ball. But
CJ Miles had a good look.
You've got to trust in your teammates and make the right basketball play. The right basketball play in that Paul George situation was right. He did the right thing. He passed the ball, and CJ Miles one-on-one. I'll take that all day over a double team and then forcing a 3-point shot from Narnia, from freaking half court. Of course I'm taking CJ Miles. CJ Miles is a good shooter. It's just like with Russell Westbrook in the fourth. I know you feel like you have this chip on your shoulder that, like, you know, oh, I know my team sucks, so I got to carry us. But taking 18 shots?
18 shots, and he made 4.
And I'm sure he got double teamed and he rushed into some shitty situations, and that's why.
Well, a lot of those 18 were like at the very end of the game. Those like 4 or 5 shots at the very end when they were just out of it, and he was just jacking shit up, trying to get back in the game. But I mean, still, if it's 4 of 15, that's just not good.
I don't like that style of running up and shooting the ball. I know he makes 40% of his shots, but if you move the ball, your teammates will eventually start making shots. They are professionals. It's not like they're bums off the street. I know teams are better than one another, but Victor Oladipo, Steven Adams, Cantor, they're not good compared to like LeBron James' teammates or Steph Curry's teammates, but they're professionals. They've shown in the past they can contribute. Trust your teammates, move the ball, make the right basketball plays.
Something that LeBron does is he uplifts his teammates. He says, "I got faith in you," whatever. And LeBron will.
That's what you're supposed to.
LeBron will pass the ball.
Oh, he will make the right basketball play. 100%.
Russell just seems like it's me against the world, and I'm gonna do it all on my own.
That's because when Durant left him, he's like, well, now I have something to prove.
But he played that way when Kevin was there, right? Russell, the way that and this is probably why they never won a championship together, because it was either the Durant show or the Westbrook show. They would have possessions where it'd be Durant going down the floor with the ball, he takes a couple dribbles and he jacks up a shot, or Russell comes down the floor with the ball, he takes a couple dribbles and he takes a shot. And that was basically their offense the last few years, and that's probably why two of the top 10 players in the game were on the same team and they couldn't win a championship.
I don't blame Durant for that. I know his choice for leaving. I know his choice of team was a little rough compared to other people, but anyways, we're having some technical difficulties over here. Is everything settled?
No, we're fine.
Okay, whatever. So the Rockets are down at halftime. I think the home team wins every game in the series, and the first one to win a road game takes the series. I'm not counting Oklahoma City out. They're a good team, and they proved that in the first three quarters of the last game. It wasn't just Westbrook. He had his teammates playing with him, but he's got to move the ball around and trust in his teammates. That's just something he has to do. So, anyways, that will wrap up our NBA playoffs recap, and hopefully we'll have some second round matchups to come to y'all next week. We will move on to the NHL playoffs. We had a moment of silence for Andrew's Blackhawks.
It's okay. When you win 3 out of the last 5 years, you can lose one. It's no big deal.
The Blackhawks got swept. Yeah, they finished the sweep yesterday. Nashville.
I knew it was over when they lost in overtime.
Carrie Underwood's husband was putting the pound town.
I'll tell you something right now. That team, it's fucking stupid. The bounces they fucking got. Everything was going their way.
I did watch some of the last game, and I will admit, yes,
one of the goals, the fucking puck came off the boards. No, a player hit it. It kind of went up. It landed on Corey Crawford's fucking blocker. And so a guy comes at Corey Crawford. He instinctively swings his blocker back, throws the puck into the fucking net. And they were down 1-0 at this point, and they were pushing. They had the ball in a Nashville zone for like 3 minutes. I'm like, oh man, we're gonna score. And they just get one push, and they get this lucky bullshit break, and I'm just like, well, fuck this. And then they score another goddamn goal 2 minutes later. Same thing. It's just it's frustrating to watch. Blackhawks didn't have a good series. They didn't look like they usually do. Tays having a rough series, and of course, he's the very last fucking goal of the series he scores. He finally comes around, but
it's sad to see because they could have made some noise. But let's get to the East. In a game right now, in overtime, the Boston Bruins and Senators are tied. Ottawa's up 2-1 in the series, correct? Or it's 3-1. My bad.
This is an elimination.
This is an elimination game. Ottawa's up 3-1.
I can't wait
in the
for Ottawa
series.
to beat Bruins.
So I really don't know what happened to the Bruins. I was so high on them coming into the end of the season, into the playoffs, because they won 9 out of 10 games. Marchand was playing unbelievable. Chara was playing well as who am I thinking of? Tuukka Rask. their goaltender. For those of you who don't know,
He's playing all right. He's not in the top 5 or anything, any stat. Oh, and another reason why the Blackhawks lost is Beckham Rainey stood on his fucking head all 4 games. Leads with fucking goals against average just because they couldn't fucking score.
We'll break down the series. I know you're hurt by that. But anyways, any standouts in this Ottawa series? We got Derek Brassard with 5 total points, 2 goals, 3 assists. That's pretty good in 4 games. Anyone else stand out? Eric Carlson, defenseman, really good, 5 points, all 5 assists. And Bobby Ryan with 5 points as well. So they've got some good contributors. I don't see anyone from Boston in these stats, which is not a good sign. So we'll see what happens in that, and I'm sure we'll let you know by the end of this podcast who wins that. Moving on to my Rangers, who it took the Canadiens in the overtime yesterday and won a crucial Game 5 to take the series lead, 3-2. Like I said the last podcast, if you're not a hockey fan, you need to watch or give a playoff game a chance, especially with a series like that with 2 physical teams who crush each other. The games are always close.
Refs don't call anything.
It
was actually a fight.
There was actually a fight, which never happens. That always happens in the regular season, and these dirty hits get called in the regular season. But when the playoffs come, I think the NHL officials are some of the best in the country at what they do compared to all these fuck ups you see by the NBA refs.
Absolutely. You don't hear about NHL refs fucking up.
I think they're some of the best. I don't think they get enough credit. So I'm giving them credit. Shout out to all the NHL refs. The Rangers play tomorrow in New York. Hopefully they need to win that game. I don't want to go. I know we're a good road team, but we as in the Rangers, I'm a Rangers fan. I think they need to close it out at home, but we'll see. I feel confident in Game 7 if it went there, but hopefully they close it out, and that'll be an interesting matchup with the Senators if they make it there. So I'm looking forward to that. Another series in the East that just finished today. The Capitals, another overtime victory. 2-1. To take the series lead at 3-2. It's been a really good series. I think that's the third. That's the third overtime game out of 5.
Back and forth, dude. 2 high power offenses coming down the wings.
I know we're really boring Aaron out right now because I can just see him to the left, just shaking his head like I don't know anything.
All I know is I picked the Blues.
Oh, they're winning 3-1. So
yeah, they're doing well.
And they're looking sick.
They're not looking sick. Jake Allen is playing really well.
I don't know anything about hockey, but they're winning.
And to recap the East, the last East series, the Pittsburgh Penguins took out the Columbus Blue Jackets in Game 5 to finish that series off.
We saw that coming.
They're clicking on all cylinders. It's going to be hard to beat Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's the team to beat in the East at the moment, or
I think
in the
Pittsburgh,
whole league.
Absolutely, dude.
They've got so much firepower.
The leading scorers in the playoffs, the top 4 the top 4 are all Penguins. You have Malkin.
Yeah, that's
Kessel,
all because they've
Crosby.
played. That's because they played an extra game. But the stats are
it
sick.
Doesn't matter.
Like 9 points.
One of them has 5 fucking goals. I've never even heard of this guy, Jake Grunsel. I'm pretty
Yeah,
old
I've heard
names.
of him.
Grunsel. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
From what it looks like, he's a 3rd liner or a 4th liner.
It's very impressive. So
They're kind of the Warriors of hockey, though. They stack their team. They have Phil Kessel, star. Malkin, star. Crosby, star. Kessel, star. I mean, Kessler.
I think Washington.
No, there's 2 Kessels. My bad.
Washington being up 3-2. I think they'll take that series against a young Maple Leafs team. And that's an exciting matchup with the Penguins and the Capitals. I know the Capitals don't get enough credit.
The Penguins have their number.
I think the Penguins have their number, and the Capitals aren't a good playoff team. They've struggled with this team, which I think they should have swept the Maple Leafs. I know
absolutely
with the youth they have. So that'll set up an interesting series. And then the Rangers hopefully take care of Montreal tomorrow, and that'll set up a game with Ottawa. Most likely Ottawa. Once again, we'll let you know
when that
who
game's
takes
over.
that. Moving on to the West, we've got, again, the Blues shocking the Wild in the first 3 games, taking a 3-0 lead.
This doesn't come a shock to me at all from seeing how the Wild have played towards the end of the season. They were doing so well midseason, and they just fell off. Their offense died.
They looked bad too. I watched game 2, and it was
Spark's not
bad.
there,
It was bad. So I think
They're players short of being really good.
The Blues have a good team. They made the finals last year, didn't they?
Yeah, but they got rid of a lot of their players. They have a
Who won last year?
team.
The Penguins, right?
Penguins, yeah, it was against
They
the
beat
Blues.
the Blues. Okay,
But
Just making
the
sure.
Blues got rid of their captain. He sent him to Boston, David Backus.
Yeah,
Not on
but
the
he
team
was
anymore.
he
They
was.
got rid of one of their defensemen. They sent them. I don't remember where they sent them, but they got rid of them.
They've got
I
some
believe.
good players on that team. So
They
I
have
think
good
they'll finish
young
that series
players.
off.
They will
Yeah.
be good the next.
And
couple
that sets up a match with them. Did they play Nashville?
Yeah, Nashville plays the winner of Wild.
That'll be a great series. I think Nashville's too small. I know they swept the Chicago Blackhawks.
The Blues are
but
going to beat everyone's
think,
shit out
yeah,
of Nashville.
the Blues
Because the
have-
Blackhawks, we didn't even talk about the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks are a bunch of fucking pansies. Like, I love them to death, but, like, come on. Like, it's so frustrating seeing, like, our captain get just beat, like, a shit beat in by Subban, and, like, no one on our team's doing anything about it. We don't have an Andrew Shaw that's going to poke around with other people. There's just no one there. And I just don't like seeing the Blackhawks get hit. I understand it's not their style of play. They're quick. They're really quick. They're fast. But it's the playoffs. You have to be physical,
especially with a
You're
team,
gonna lose
a
if
team
you're
as
not.
small as Nashville.
They're not super small, but
Y'all are bigger than them. I think.
I don't think we are. Keith is small. Seabrook is big. Dromelson's average. Van Riemsdyk is average. Like, we're not that big. Kane is tiny. Panarin, tiny. Taze, tiny. Hossa, average. We're really small. They have some pretty big players. What's Philip Forsberg? He's pretty damn big for a forward. Mike Fisher, pretty damn big. James Neal, pretty damn big. So I think you got that wrong. And Pecorine is 6'7", I believe. So, but he's a goalie.
Whoa.
Fuck Pecorine. I'm sorry. I'm done. Like,
we are beating a dead horse here.
It was pulling the Band-Aid off quick. Like, game 3 happened. I was like it was crucial. That was it. Like, we had to win that game. It went to overtime.
And Poto
And just wrap
gets
around
so
goal.
salty about these Chicago teams because he's just a huge Chicago fan in general.
It's one of the best cities, sports-wise. Like,
It is. It's up there with Boston, I think.
not Cleveland.
Anyways,
Not Cleveland.
I don't know why y'all think I'm such a Cleveland fan. I'm a
He is.
LeBron.
You're
LeBron.
not a Cleveland fan. You're a LeBron fan, and I'm not a Cleveland
Hold on.
hater.
What's your most hated team in the NBA?
I don't have hated
Hold on.
teams. I have
I'm
hated
not asking you.
players.
There's got to be one team you don't like.
The Spurs.
Okay, what if LeBron goes play for the Spurs?
I'm a LeBron fan.
So you'll like the Spurs.
I'm not a fan of Cleveland.
Okay.
I'm a straight shooter.
Would you pull for the Spurs?
No, I would never pull for the Spurs.
So how do you
Even if they had LeBron?
pull for the Spurs, LeBron, without pulling for the Spurs?
I mean, that won't happen anyway.
Because you like LeBron.
I wouldn't watch any.
If
of
you're
those
if you're a
games.
true LeBron fan,
I'm not a true. I'm a fan of what he does. I'm not a true LeBron fan like Colin Coward or Nick Wright.
or Sharp,
I don't kiss his ass. I just
Shannon,
Shannon
I
Lush,
give respect.
Sharp.
I give respect where respect is due, and I think a lot of people give him a lot of shit and make up a lot of shit for what he's doing, and I think it's bullshit. I think he deserves credit.
all of it.
He deserves credit where it's due. He's the best player on the planet.
No one is arguing that. If any expert argued he's the best player on the planet,
No
He's
one.
been
I don't
like
think
that
anyone.
forever.
if they say against that, they're just trying to create.
I don't think anyone has ever tried to take away from LeBron's talents. But LeBron with everything positive about him, he's had so many shortcomings as well. Like,
Now, we're talking about hockey. Let's get off this subject.
yeah. I know Aaron had to get his 2 cents in real quick. We're almost done with the NHL right now.
all right,
The Oilers took Game 5 yesterday to take the series lead 3-2. They play tomorrow.
Yes.
That's exciting. I'm pulling for the Oilers. I want to see some
Actually,
fresh blood in there.
the Blues did not make it to the finals last year. It was the Sharks.
It was the Sharks. Okay.
Sorry,
Sorry for that.
we're from Louisiana.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. We're huge hockey fans.
Yeah, I guess. So that's
So-
pretty bad on our part.
And I think that's it. We missed.
No, let's talk about the Oilers. Their team. They have a good young team, fast. I thought they didn't have to stand a chance because of they don't have that much experience on their team. And the Sharks
and the Sharks do.
The Sharks
They
never.
have
Yeah.
They have Pavelski, Couture, Burns,
Marlowe.
Thornton, Marlowe. All of those have been there, and it's
I feel
just shocking.
bad. I feel bad for the Sharks.
Do you think they're too old though? And these fresh,
as far
these
as
fresh guys are coming in.
Well,
And,
the Oilers are about 10
that's-
times faster than the Sharks are.
But
Sharks are a little more possessive.
the last
team.
time San Jose played them at their place, they skull dragged the Oilers 7-0. So
That's
we might see a game 7 in this series. I was trying to think of what the other West series was. I'm missing
name
one.
it.
No, the Ducks beat Calgary. I think they
That was a
swept them.
sweep.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
that shows you how much
Yeah.
that series. Like, come on.
I think So the
Ducks are another
Ducks and the
powerhouse
Penguins
team.
are the only two teams.
That will
That
set up
are-
an interesting matchup with the Ducks and the Oilers.
That
if
will
they get
be.
through.
That will
I
be.
think it's an interesting matchup regardless of the Sharks may get through. I don't like the Ducks. I don't really hate San Jose.
No, yeah.
But
the
I think-
NHL playoffs. I know a lot of people aren't fans, but I think people need to give them respect. So, anyways, that wraps
ESPN, that's including you.
up. That wraps up all of that, and now we're kind of just sitting here.
Just
and-
kind of thinking back on basketball talk on playoffs, we didn't really talk about San Antonio, Memphis.
We didn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, we did.
We did
God.
skip over that. So San Antonio started out really good at their home court. Took the first 2 games, and then that led to their coach, the Grizzlies coach, coming out and giving a fiery speech about how bad the refs were.
What was the last word he said? And he
That's
slapped the
damn
table.
data or something like that. And take that for data. He fired his team up, and they ended up entering. They changed their lineup a little bit with Randolph coming into the starting lineup, which I think needed to happen.
Zach Randolph had a dunk last night.
Old man Randolph and
had
old
fi-
man Carter.
By the way, he had 5 dunks this year. Oh, did you see Vince?
Yeah, he got
Vince
up.
got up. Get bagged up.
It's
Vince.
really impressive what he's doing.
Yeah, Vince is like 40 years old. Like, I don't even know. How old is Vince
40
Carter?
or
Jesus
39.
And he can
Christ.
still get up.
Yeah.
He's got hops.
And he's the best dunker of all time.
I'm not going to argue with that.
I don't think anyone should argue.
I'm telling you, man, Memphis was my underdog, and I'm still not counting them out. I think they can take Game 4 here, and that's going to make things really interesting going forward in Game 5
Did you
and
pick
on.
Memphis to win
I'm
this
not sure.
series?
So
No,
the first
he
podcast,
he absolutely picked Memphis.
the first podcast, I said 7, and I think I switched to Memphis. I had the Spurs.
You
yeah,
went Memphis in 6 last podcast, I believe.
I did not say 6. I promise you, I said 7.
I don't remember
promise
what he
you,
said,
mark
but
my
I just
words.
think that he picked Memphis.
I've never said 6. I've never said 6. Go check your
Well,
facts.
you saying
asshole.
that what facts? I don't listen to my own podcast. The fact that you just said the Grizzlies are going to beat the Spurs in a series is
I just
enough
can't-
on its own.
Oh, that's bold. Oh,
What,
let's
you
go
gonna-
back to Rondo and how big of an X factor he was.
Well, he actually is.
Yeah.
That's why they lost. So
You
I mean, I
have
don't even want to talk.
no-
I don't want to
you
talk.
have
is-
no credibility telling me
They just
wrong
lost. They
for
just
thinking
lost.
that. Oh yeah, because of with Rondo's 10 points, they still would have
20.
lost.
10
Still would've
points
lost.
plus the fucking 20 points on the assist. So sorry, that's 30 fucking points.
Oh,
How much did they
man.
lose by?
Oh my god.
I don't think.
Give me a second.
Jimmy Butler also had a shitty game. Only had 15 points. And you're slamming your fingers against that keyboard.
Because I'm eager. I'm eager to just whip out these stats right now.
Well, you're going to pull up season stats?
So, yeah, because
Why?
in 2 games, freaking Mirza can average 30 and 20.
Yeah, and
So
that
2
makes
games,
a difference.
So 2 games.
He's a star. Mirza's coming off the
Average
bench.
30 and 20.
I was just making
That's
a statement.
about 1,000
Just
times
making
better
a
than
statement.
fucking 10 and 11.
Just making a statement. So, Rajon Rondo,
My bad.
let me think. In the regular season,
I don't care about the regular season.
Well, I
He's
do.
a different
Well, I
player.
do, so shut
know.
up. I do,
I
so
don't
shut
care.
up.
So don't even say the stats.
8
he sucks
points.
he sucks. He sucks
8
in the regular
points,
season.
6
in
assists,
the playoffs, he's
5
valuable.
rebounds. Such an X factor.
Dude, I'm not. The
What are you
audience
gonna
know
do?
my argument, so
What are
I'm
you
not
gonna
talking
do?
about this.
What are you gonna do? Your Bulls are gonna lose these next 3 games, and then
I
I'm
don't
just gonna
fucking
be.
care. I don't
and I'm
care. We
gonna
got the
be-
Cubs and we got the fucking. That's all we have.
Well, your Cubs look a little rough now too.
He goes, we got the Cubs and
I would say we have the Blackhawks, but we're out.
Yeah, Blackhawks are out. You're
Well, you
beating the
never
dead horse
know what the
with that.
Bears are gonna do.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
The NFL draft is what, next Thursday, I believe.
Does it start next
Let us know if
Thursday?
y'all
think
want
it's
us to
next
do
Thursday.
a live podcast.
I would be down
with
for
the
that.
draft. I think that'd be pretty fun.
I mean, I would be down for that.
It's not gonna be a podcast. It's gonna be just well, we might stream it or something. It'd be pretty cool.
What time does the draft start?
6. We might not get off of work in time.
And we can make something work.
We can have a recap on Friday of everything, just dedicated straight to the
It's
draft.
just what, the first round or the first two
First
rounds?
round.
First round Friday. So we just talk about the first round.
We can record it and then just watch it live, and then you get our reaction if we don't look.
Yeah. So, any thoughts before? Because this is the last time you'll hear from us about the draft. So, is there any thoughts or wishes?
Well, I've heard Jamal Adams could go number 1 overall, which would be interesting.
I think he goes to the Bears at 3, maybe even 2. I don't think he goes number 1. I think that's a little.
I think we
reachy.
all agreed that Myles Garrett should go number 1.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another NFL news. They released the schedule. Y'all saw the schedule.
I haven't seen it, but I did see that.
Apparently,
Saints-
Dallas has the hardest schedule.
I'll pull it up real quick. I know the Saints. I have a winners losers article, so we can go over that. The Saints open on Monday night in Minnesota.
That's a loss.
That's a loss.
Heck no, it's a Vikings.
Is Teddy
It's the
Bridgewater
Vikings.
back?
Teddy
though?
Bridgewater should be back, I think.
I don't think so, man.
Believe
I
it
think
or
Sam
not,
Bradford's
I'm
their
pretty
starter,
sure- yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a competition now for starter.
and
Really?
I think Teddy is.
I mean, Bradford did not play that bad last year.
Teddy really fucked his knee up. I don't think
bad.
that was just I'm out for the rest of the season thing. I think he's.
You know what I like about the Vikings? I love Stephon Diggs.
Oh, do you love AP too? Because
Well,
he's gone.
Well, no. I'm talking about Stephon Diggs here.
Why? Because of fantasy?
Well, I love Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, because he did well for you in fantasy. That's so biased. Diggs is a good player. Don't get me wrong. They have what? Latavius Murray now. They signed Latavius
Yeah.
Murray. I don't think they signed any
Their
receivers.
offensive line is terrible, though.
Yeah, that's gonna be a rough rider for them, especially in the North. I think that was just a one-time thing. Let me read this article. So, winners of the draft for the first time in 5 years, neither the Browns or the Jaguars will play in prime time. Whoa.
Oh darn!
Hold up. I thought every team got at least one primetime
They
game.
both have quote unquote national games.
What, like Thursday night?
8:30 in the morning in London.
Oh, well,
No one's gonna be watching that.
Yeah. So, and no one wants to watch Cleveland. Or the only time you want to watch Cleveland is when
if
your
your team's
fantasy
playing against them and
your fantasy team's playing against them, or you have a fantasy, or they're like 0-15. And you're just watching the record go for the worst record, other than I think Detroit did it right.
It's so true.
So
I mean, they have like a couple. They have a couple fantasy relevant players. Like
10 teams have 5 or more primetime games. You want to guess who these 5 teams are? I guarantee y'all get them.
New England,
Yes.
Dallas.
Yes.
What's the question? I wasn't paying attention.
10 teams. He said
5.
10 teams.
10 teams.
Atlanta.
Oh, I
10 teams at
No,
what? I'm so
they-
confused.
they named primetime games. So like popular teams. They named 4 right here. You got Dallas and you've got the Patriots. You're missing 2, the Packers and the Steelers. And then
I
I'm
would have
sure
thought Atlanta.
I'm sure
coming off-
Atlanta's on there too
Coming
as
off
well.
of a Super Bowl berth would have had more primetime games.
Let me see. The Browns are scheduled to kick off on all games except for one at 12 o'clock. Compared to
Man, show the Browns some love.
the Cowboys, who have 9 late afternoon kickoffs,
What, like 3:30?
like
games?
the prime time, like during the day,
I don't
like
think
the
it
3:30
matters.
games.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
when
just-
I'm
yeah, I'm just-
talking about when I'm primetime, I'm thinking Sunday night.
No
Monday night.
short weeks for the Jags and Brown. Damn, they're really bashing those 2 teams. Let me see.
That's what you get when you fucking suck.
They're the only 2 teams this season that won't face a short week and won't have to tweak their weekly schedules.
Well,
They never play on like Sunday night
They
or
might not play on
Monday.
a short week, but the trip across the pond is
Yeah.
it can be rough.
Let me see. Falcons avoid immediate verdict. Instead, they have a rematch with the Patriots in Week 7. You know how they usually have a Super Bowl rematch in Week 1. You had the Broncos this year against the Patriots. No, it was the Panthers. Instead, they face off in Week 7. I think the Saints open up their home season with the Patriots, the second game of the season. So
Saints are gonna win.
That's
that game.
0-2
really,
for the Saints. Yeah,
The Saints aren't losing to the Vikings.
oh, after I read this article,
maybe.
we're gonna go through the Saints, and since he likes the Bears schedule, and we'll give a little
I can tell
prediction
you what,
per game.
I
and
can
we'll
tell you what's
see
gonna happen to the Bears right now.
just a rough.
not gonna
hold
win
on.
a game.
Okay, hey, just because they released Jay Cutler, if they had Jay
If
Cutler,
they had color, they might go
yeah,
undefeated.
exactly. We'll give a rough prediction on how they'll finish. Obviously, it's all opinionated, and I mean, if you want to bash us for not having stats and kiss my ass, I really don't care. But opinionated. Anyways, nothing. Who cares about the Ravens, right? Does anyone care?
No.
Well, they're in the division with the Steelers.
All right, so
they're
a
not winning that
loser-
division.
Sorry,
A
Ravens
loser,
fans.
according to this article, the Raiders in weeks 11 through 15, the most difficult stretch, who will play teams that had combined for a 74% winning percentage. 70.
Who they play?
We'll begin week 11 with the Patriots in
Patriots?
Mexico City. Then they
What?
host the Broncos.
International
Yeah,
game.
Mexico
Yeah,
City. I
Mexican
didn't know
games.
they did that.
Yeah, they do.
This is the first time I think I've.
And then
never,
they played baseball there. I didn't know football was next.
I didn't know that was a thing at all.
Yeah, there's Mexican baseball fans.
So they got the Patriots,
Well, this is football.
followed by the
Oh,
Broncos,
my bad.
the Giants, and the Chiefs, and then the Cowboys.
The Broncos, the Giants, the Chiefs, the Cowboys.
That's
I don't
a
think-
pretty
I don't-
rough
I
stretch.
don't think the Chiefs.
I don't think Marshawn. I think Marshawn reads this article and says, "Oh, maybe I'll stay retired," because that looks like at least a 2-3 right there. At least 2-3 is impressive in that 5-game stretch. So
Absolutely.
the Bills will come close to matching. Nothing with that. The Giants' rest deficit. Overall, the Giants have the least. What? I don't get what's going on here. Whatever. I don't.
He's just reading straight off.
Yeah, I'm
the
reading
laptop.
straight off. Yeah, I mean,
He's not reading his own notes or anything.
I'm not reading my own notes. People were pissed off about the whole thing that happened with the Chargers and moving to LA. And
I don't
aren't they playing in the same
understand-
stadium? They're sharing that stadium,
Are
aren't
they?
they? I'm almost positive.
I don't understand why they moved the Chargers to LA, like instead of the Raiders. Like, why wouldn't they have just?
Well, the Raiders are going to Vegas, are they?
Yeah,
not?
but that was done after the Chargers moved to LA.
In their first season together in the Los Angeles market, the Rams and Chargers will play at the same day and time for nearly half of their home schedules. So maybe they're not playing at the same. But
Well, no, if they play the
be
same day and
impossible.
at the same time, they can't play the same stadium.
So this is pretty much saying Los Angeles fans are going to be conflicted. But it's kind of like the Lakers and the Clippers, even
They
though they
play in the
share a
same arena.
stadium. But I'm sure Chargers, they'll pick.
And do the Clippers have fans?
Well, they have more. Yeah, well, the Lakers have more fans just because they're the Lakers.
Yeah,
But the Clippers are the far better team.
Does it say anything about where they're
I
playing?
mean right now. I mean, if
Well,
Lob
no shit.
if Lob
the
City
Rams-
breaks up,
The Rams will play it in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, and the Chargers will play in the StubHub Center 12 miles away. It's a soccer stadium.
okay.
It's where the Galaxy play.
Traffic's going to be a bitch. That 12-mile span. If
I don't know how traffic is. I don't know what their
in
intersection
LA with 2 football games 12 miles away, dude. You think Baton Rouge traffic's bad? Oh, I've never been to LA, but that just sounds rough.
But LA's already a big city in general, so
Opponents of Washington's team name. Whatever. Who cares about that? That's it for the article. Anyways, let me pull up the Saints schedule. Let's give a little rough game by game on. Obviously, we don't know who they're drafting, and teams aren't set yet. So let's just give a rough prediction here. Everyone, I guess, give it once. Okay, so Monday night, they open up Monday night in Minnesota. Who are y'all taking?
Minnesota.
So Saints. I have the Saints winning that game. So 1-0 for me and Poto. 0-1 for Aaron. Patriots. They come home. Their home opener is against the Patriots.
I think this is a trap game for the Patriots.
That's an L.
That's an
Yeah,
L.
that's an
Let's
L.
be
That's
honest.
a loss.
So 1-1 for me and Poto. 0-2 for Aaron. Then they travel to Carolina.
L.
No.
I said they're gonna lose.
They lose on. They're not a good road team. I think that's an L. I think they're 1-2.
They're a
for me.
terrible road team.
We don't know that because we don't know who they're drafting and who they're trading
But in the
for. But
past.
as of now in the past, yes. So 1-2 for me and Poto. 0-3 for
0-3.
Aaron. God damn. I mean, that's 3 tough games though. Then they host the Dolphins.
That's a win.
That's an L.
That's a win. Sorry.
Dolphins are coming off of a playoff berth.
So 2-2 for me and Poto. 0-4 for Aaron. God. Wow.
Man, you don't like
That's
the
a
Saints,
little-
do you?
Jeez. Then they have a bye week, and then they host the Lions.
Win
Win. Wow. So you give them a win against the Lions, but not against the
at
Dolphins?
home.
They're playing the Dolphins at home.
Yeah, but the Dolphins are good.
Oh, okay.
I got the Lions.
The Dolphins.
God, what the fuck?
I'm just fucking.
the
with
Dolphins
You.
have a
I'm
good-
just fucking.
you
with
got the
Saints gonna
Saints?
win.
I like the Dolphins' defense, man.
So me and Poto have the Saints at 4-2 right now after 6 games.
2-4.
And you have them at 1-5.
Yeah, y'all have them at 2-4.
No, that'd
We
be
have
the
them at
third
4-2, brother. Or 4 and
No, it'd be the third one.
hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me restart. I got mixed up. Vikings, Patriots, Panthers, Dolphins, Lions. That's 5
Y'all have the
games. My
Saints
bad.
at 4-2.
No, it's 5 games.
No.
My bad. I have
have them at
them
2 and 3.
at 3-2.
Is it
We
3
both
and
have
2?
them at 3.
Okay.
We've gone the
And I
same.
have
and
1
you
and
1 and
4.
4. Then they travel to Green Bay.
Yeah, we can't
That's
count
a loss.
That'd be
Apparently.
1-5.
I got mixed up.
That's a loss.
1-5 for Aaron. 3-3 for me and Poto. And then a good old matchup with the Bears and the Superdome.
They'll beat the Bears.
That's gonna be a good game, man.
I got the Bears.
You got the Bears, Saints.
Saints.
I think the Saints beat the Bears.
The Saints can't beat the Bears. So
I've got the Saints. So that I gotta change up everything. Just remember your record.
what's my record?
You were 3-3 before that, so you're
They got
you're
2 wins.
3-4.
3-4 now.
2 wins
I'm
for me.
4-3, and then you have 2.
I don't think at
everyone
any point, I don't
remember.
think at any point of the season they're gonna be over 500.
Then they host the Buccaneers, who are pretty. They look pretty damn good with acquiring Deshaun Jackson.
I got Bucks.
You got
I'm
the
not
Bucks?
even
I'll take
talking
the
about this.
I'll take
I
the
got
Bucks. They
Buccaneers.
beat them both
I
times.
think the Saints win this at home. They're a great home team. That's their 5th win. They're 5-3 for me.
I got 2 wins for the Saints.
2 wins
I
so
still
far.
got 3.
Then they travel to Buffalo. That's a tough game just
That's a win.
because. Really?
I think the Saints win that game.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Buffalo's have a new coach.
They got a new coach,
I don't care. It's hard to play.
and I don't believe in
gonna
Tyrod.
be it's
and I
gonna-
don't believe in Tyrod.
Okay, I think I give that to the Bills. So
I got
that
3 wins.
Puts them at 5-4 for me. Then they host the Redskins. That's a good game. I don't know.
I think they win that one.
The
too.
Redskins lost Deshaun Jackson. Did they get another receiver? I think they did. I'm lost on NFL acquisitions.
got the Saints.
I take the
That
Saints
sounds
in that one
energetic.
too. 4
Saints,
wins.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Saints.
sleep.
I've got 6-4.
I don't even care.
Then they travel to LA to face the Rams.
That's a win.
That's a win.
That's a win.
Rams are pitiful.
I got them at what is that? 4 wins now.
Russell passed the ball. He didn't shoot.
I've got them at 7-3 right now. Really? Yeah.
See what happens when you pass the ball,
1,
Russell?
2. Yeah, I have them at 7-3 through 10. Ooh. Wow. Maybe I'm a little bold right
You're
now.
out of your mind.
Maybe I'm a little bold right now. 7-3. Yeah, I do have them at 7-3.
Dude, they're not going to get over 500 at any point of the season.
No, I take it back. 6-4. It's 6-4.
And I have them at 4-6 through 10.
Then they
I have them 5-5 though.
then they host the Panthers. I think they beat the Panthers at home. The home team always wins those 2 games. So that's
I don't see them beating the
7-4.
Panthers.
I got them at home. So
Then they travel to Atlanta. Wow, they got Atlanta 2 out of 3 weeks.
they're going to lose to Atlanta.
They'll lose
tragic.
both of those too. I think the Saints don't win a division game.
Oh, Lord.
Dude,
Jesus.
Jeez.
I like the NFC South, except for the Saints.
Jeez. I have them losing in Atlanta. That puts them at 7-5 for me.
They might beat the Bucks once.
That's what we thought last year.
Then they host the Jets. That's always a trap game for the Saints.
They'll beat the Jets.
The Jets are
The Jets are
the
terrible.
Jets might not even
They'll
have
beat
a
them.
quarterback.
How many games are in the regular
Did the
season?
Jets
There's
have
15, right?
Did the Jets
There's
have
16.
a starting quarterback?
I don't know.
What's the guy's name that's supposed to be their starter?
Fitzpatrick?
No. It's somebody you've literally never heard of.
Oh, Petty? Bryce Petty?
No, it's not him either. The Jets starting quarterback, some dude I've never heard of as of like right now.
I don't know. Well, then they host the Falcons and then travel to the Bucks. So I've got them at
Christian Hackenberg?
Hackenberg, yeah.
Hackenberg.
Yeah. Yeah. The Jets are in trouble.
They've been in trouble.
And then
There's 16 games,
then
right?
they lose.
I'm not stupid.
Yeah, 16.
I've got
Did they
them
lose
winning.
Brandon Marshall as well, the Jets?
Yeah.
I've got them 10.
Giants.
I've got them 10 and 6.
I think he went to the Giants.
I've got them 10 and 6.
The Saints.
I have-
You're out of your fucking mind.
I think that's a favorable schedule.
No, it's not
I mean,
going to happen.
I'll
it's
say
top
that-
heavy. It's top heavy. That's about it.
I'll say the Saints finish with 6 wins.
Jesus, man.
I say 7.
6 or 7. I mean, they're just not.
They didn't
That's a
prove
favorable
they
just
schedule
lost
towards the
they
end.
just lost their best offensive player for the second straight year, right?
They didn't prove shit to me last year. So
They lost their best offensive weapon 2 years in a row.
Anyways, that'll wrap up that. Is there anything else that's interesting going on in sports, or are we?
I don't know if anyone cares about soccer.
Oh yeah, we got some.
Yeah, Champions League is going on
Champions
right now.
League. Yeah.
And
Big
believe it or
fan.
not, Barcelona is out. On the out.
Big fan.
You don't even. Barcelona's favored to win the entire thing. So is Real Madrid, but Real Madrid actually made it through, beating Bayern Munich. Pretty good team. Sucks that matchup was in the round of 16, but it was fun to watch either way. But Barcelona, like, they went down to PSG, I think like 3-0, or it might have been 4-0, and we thought they were done. They were out, and we go into the second leg. And they come back and they had to obliterate PSG, and they did. So they made it around the 16, and then same thing happens against Juventus. And Juventus is I think a way better team than PSG is. So these guys have no idea what I'm talking about, but that's okay.
I do.
But you can't go down 3-0 in the first leg to Juventus. Gigi Buffon is one of the best goalkeepers of all time. He's not going to give up more than 4 goals. So they played, and I think it was a 0-0, I believe, and they lost an aggregate to that one. And you had Dortmund losing to Monaco. Monaco is a hot team. They're in the Serie A, believe it or not. Their team's about a bunch of young guys, really young, really, really fast, a lot of pace. And Dortmund was favored to win that, but Monaco's and their Cinderella story still going on. But now they're, I think they go against Juventus, maybe. I'm not sure they go against. Real Madrid made it through. I think Atletico Madrid made it through. Did they not?
I do.
No idea. See, these guys have no idea, so it's kind of hard to talk about it. But if there's anyone that cares about it, and you want me to talk about it, I know.
Oh yeah.
I know a decent amount about it. I watch all the games that come on. But yeah, if you want to hear any more about it, or you don't want me to talk about it at all, just
No,
let
I'm
me know.
down. I'm down to do some research on it. I came unprepared.
The Champions League's a pretty big deal. That's all the best teams in Europe going, and you know. I mean, all casual watchers probably care about the World Cup that happens every odd so years.
Yeah. I'll
Give soccer a shout.
We'll give soccer a shout out next podcast episode for sure. So
And
or football, whatever you want to call it.
for me,
yeah, what's your
golf.
yeah? Give it a little golf.
Yeah, what's
talk.
going on?
I'll go to my
What's going on?
MMA after.
We work at a golf course, and I have no goddamn clue what's going on
Well-
in golf.
Tiger
Oh, what the fuck?
Sucks.
has had another back surgery
When?
Aw.
like yesterday
Is he
or the
done?
day
Sorry,
before.
man.
Is he
So that'd
done?
be the 4th back surgery
Just
that he's had
dude.
now. He's out for the rest of the season. They said at least 6 months
It's over.
before,
I'm sorry. I like
before
Tiger,
he
but
can
it's
come
over.
back. However, this surgery is different than the last surgery. He had something fused.
Oh no.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but so I don't know anything about the surgery. But
Can't fix his talent.
I'm a little frustrated and a little upset that he's not going to play the rest of the year. So hopefully he comes back next year healthy and back to his old ways.
He won't, so don't get your hopes up. I'm sorry.
I know what you guys.
You just can't buy talent back. You can't. Doctors can't fix talent.
I know.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
It's a sad day for me.
I opened up with a moment of silence for Poto, but I'll open up again for another moment of silence for Aaron and Tiger Woods.
Oh,
that wasn't.
because I don't give a fuck about Tiger Woods.
That was a pretty short moment.
Can I, since y'all went with y'all's sport
Go
of
ahead.
the choice?
Bruins are about to start second overtime.
Oh, really? Okay. We might not finish that by the time we get off here. I predicted 3 of the 4 fights that I called last week, with the upset being right. Jacare Souza got knocked out by Robert Whitaker in the second round.
Oh, we're talking about UFC.
Oh, this y'all got y'all's shine.
fucking
Here's
with
my
you. I like
shine.
UFC.
Here's my 2 minutes of fame. Demetrius Johnson tied Anderson Silva's record by submitting William Hayes with a armbar, and Rose Namajunas finished Michelle
What's
Michelle Watterson
Namajunas?
Namajunas. She finished Michelle Watterson, I believe, in the first round, maybe second, by a rear naked choke. So I got those 3 right. I did lose the Jeremy Stevens fight. He did lose to that bum by a decision. Anyways, that happened. And then this week, it's a pretty shitty card, but shout out to Jessica Penne. My girl is fighting this weekend against Angela Hill. No, Hill. Something Hill. I don't know what her first name is.
Acting like he's fucking married to her, his girl.
So I'm pulling for Bay. I hope she wins that. Go give her a follow. And Jessica Penne, I know you're never going to find this, but like if you do, I love you. I'm your biggest fan. And if you ever like come on here, I might just die at the moment.
Do us a favor.
Anyways, Jesus. Okay.
I'm just fucking.
Anyways, and then the Cub Swanson, Artem Lobov is the main event. Cub Swanson came off of a impressive win against Doo-Hoo Choi, who was a rising Korean.
Well, now he's in the army, so.
Yeah, he's not there yet, but Artem Lobov is non-deserving of this matchup. I think he's a little overrated for this matchup, but he's Conor McGregor's training partner. He's got extreme knockout power, but I think Cub Swanson takes him to the ground and finish him maybe first or second round. That's really the only good fight on that card. I'm probably missing a few. Oh, my boy Mike Perry. Shout out. He's from Mississippi, represent the South. Hopefully he finishes Jake Ellenberger off.
Wait, is that the guy that talks like extremely Southern accent?
No.
Okay, because I remember there was one from I don't even remember what
James
was the name?
Vick.
What was the name of the when we went to Biloxi and watched
Atlas?
that? Yeah, wasn't there someone from that?
Yeah.
that was like hick as hell.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like that, but Mike Perry.
I can say hick because we are hick because we're from Baton Rouge.
So that wraps up that. Is there anything else, guys, that we're missing?
That's
here?
pretty much it for me.
Yeah,
for this
I don't
week.
think this was a 2-hour pod. This is what we're at, an hour and a half. We're approaching an hour and a half right now, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's gonna be around that. Yeah.
So I know, once again, we're having a good time doing this. We appreciate the people who are giving us a like on our Facebook page. Andrew finally did some marketing.
Hopefully
so
we'll have a Twitter.
hopefully we'll have a Twitter soon, and we're getting close to getting on iTunes. So we'll start dropping that in the Facebook page, as well as I think next week we're starting the video with some video. So you'll get to see our beautiful faces match our.
One of our beautiful faces.
Yeah, Anthony's pretty.
Yeah, I know Andrew's
Yeah, I'm a,
I don't know why you judge guys, but that's just that's your.
What's wrong with that?
That's
Yeah.
No, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
You got to remember what society we live in nowadays.
We do live. We can go off the script here
I didn't need
for
you
a
to
minute.
answer that.
Let's give a minute.
I didn't need you to answer that question.
We
That was
can give a
rhetorical.
minute to what's going on in our world today.
All right, who cares?
Trump firing him.
Nope, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear
We're gonna
politics.
shut down the
This
Trump
is
talk
not. This
real
is
quick.
not to be determined politics podcast.
They shut down the Trump talk real quick, so we'll end it right here. Thank y'all for listening and hanging in there with us. We appreciate it much. If y'all can get to our Facebook page, To Be Determined Sports Podcast. We're coming to iTunes. We're coming out with video. We're expanding. We're innovating. We're learning, and we don't give a shit what y'all think.
We are the future of podcast.
If you love us, we love you. If you're against us, not gonna say it, but it's a bad word. It's a bad word.
Very bad.
Very bad. So
You've already said all. Okay.
I'm not saying fuck you to people.
I'll say fuck you then.
Well, if you don't like us, fuck you.
Oh, jeez, I'm not gonna go out.
Easy.
Peace and love.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Signing off.
See you later.